Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, coming attractions. We are playing it forward. 9 losses in a row. The CHGO Bears podcast starts right now. Monday, Bears fans. Happy Christmas week, holiday week, Hanukkah, the whole deal. Kids off from school. Yours truly, the Carman, Herb Howard, working hard here. Lance Briggs.
Let's do it.
Join us at the bottom of the hour. Herb, I got a trivia question to start the show here for you today.
All right, what we got?
Do you know how many days it has been since the Hail Mary had landed in Washington when the Bears were seconds away from being 5-2? Give it a guess.
70?
70 is an excellent guess because that will play into my next question. But it is Tom Thayer, 57 days away. 57. Now, hang on a second here because I got to just double check my work here for 1 second. Now.
Oh, my math was bad. I'm like, how's that? I'm like 9 times 7, right? I mean, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, no. Now, the last time the Bears won a game, we were in London. It was week 6.
Good time.
How many days ago was that?
Well, that was 2 weeks before then. So you say 57, 14, 71 days?
71. Big Cat James Williams, what's up?
There we go.
71 days.
71 days since we won a game.
71 days.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Is that bad? It's not good.
That's straight wild. That's 2 months plus, Herb.
That is bad. That is bad.
That's the second most all time in a season. Which, by the way, it happened 2 seasons ago in 2022. They lost 10 in a row. What are they doing to you, Bears fans?
What are they doing to Bears fans? What are they doing to Bears reporters? I was just having a conversation before we got on with Tony Gill, and I was just like, I don't know what, you know what I mean? Like, you go in the locker room 9 straight times. Like, ask who what.
Right.
Why did we lose this week?
Well,
similar to why we lost last week and the week before and the week before and the week. Like, it's just getting so redundant. I'm walking into Soldier Field yesterday coming from the South Lot, and fans are yelling, and they're like, yo, Herb, you think we're going to win today? I'm like, are you drunk? Yes, you are drunk. Okay. They're like, no. The Lions are banged up, and we're going to get them, and it's going to be an upset. I'm going to tweet you later. I said, tweet me later after the Bears win the game. Right? Like, knock it off. The Lions are beat up. The Lions have been beat up all year. I said, y'all just know that David Montgomery got hurt because he's a former Bear, but they've been beat up all year. They lost their best player in week 6, and they keep winning.
Right. I mean, McNeil just went out, but Aiden Hutchins has been gone for 2 months. We sit down and we do the picks every week, and I've sat there every week. I'm like, I can't pick the Bears to win.
How?
I'm like, I want to be the guy that will zig when others are zagging, or vice versa, but I can't. I'm going to pick them to beat the Detroit Lions right now. I am not.
I'm trying to convince myself to find a reason to pick them Thursday night. And I can't, so I probably won't.
I haven't played it forward that much. I think I might be able to trick myself into that one. But I did the 57 to Washington. I did the 71 to Jacksonville. I think the most important question now is not how many days until the Bears get a win, but it's how many days until they can talk to Ben Johnson. At what point will they be able to sit down with this guy? And, I'm crowning him a little bit too high here, but I am interested. Stumble bum and everything going on yesterday. According to my guy Brad Biggs over there in his piece, Biggsy saying the league's expected to release sometime this week what will be the protocol for when you can actually interview guys who are in the playoffs. And, obviously the Lions are hoping they're going to have a very deep run here. So whatever that looks like, how many days that is, that's what I'm most interested in right now.
That's what matters, man. I think, obviously he's been doing this thing very, very well. I was watching Hogue talk about it with Johnsy and talking about his EPA, second in the league since he's taken over as their offensive coordinator.
Is that
Detroit?
Good?
It's good.
It's
better
good.
than the Bears.
Is that
better than the Bears? You gotta like what he put on display yesterday at Soldier Field, right?
Yep.
Put out a pretty good display, and he's been creative, man. And injuries or not, they continue to find ways to move the ball, to put points on the board. You gotta like what he does bring. There's always going to be the question about leadership and this leader of men conversation. How does he command the room?
Yep.
And that's real. You don't know that until he's here, but you won't know it until he's here. But what you've seen from him, you gotta like.
Yeah, and look, you got to roll the dice in life all over the place.
Yeah.
Different decisions need to be made. Am I going to bet on somebody, if I'm the Bears, that is creative as hell, who's got the entire sideline yelling ball, ball, ball when he's doing the stumble bum, which is the 17th, different play that he's done that's been creative this year that's off the board. Dan Skipper scoring touchdowns, Penny Sewell throwing footballs.
Right.
I mean, this dude's, he's all over the map. You think, come on. Hey, if that flames out miserably here, okay.
At least it's the sensible thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was the other thing too. Like the sensible thing, okay, they get the ball down at the goal line. Jameer Gibbs that first down, nothing. Second down, nothing. Third down, we'll run it again. He didn't get creative. I'm gonna slam it in your face again.
Dude, people talk about the easy answer. It's the most simple answer because it's probably the right answer. Right? That's the reason why that's a simple answer. Yeah, it's probably the right answer.
Right. We don't
you don't have to overthink yourself. That's what Pete Carroll did to Bill Belichick and lost the Super Bowl. Don't think Bill Belichick thinks I'm going to run it. He thinks you're going to run it because that's the thing to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it just don't overthink it. Don't go all Mark Trestman on me. Like when you got Bruce Arians right there, don't go just don't overthink the thing.
Exactly. You overthought the Bruce Arians, Mark Trestman. You overthought the Matt Eberflus, Dan Quinn. Hey, man, this come on.
Stop trying to be the smartest person in the room and just make the decision that's right there in front of you.
So I got what I'm going to call some good news today.
All right, what we got? I need that.
So are we good, Steven? Do we got this? Okay, so Caleb talked today, rare on a Monday, but on the short week with Thursday, it was him and Thomas Brown at the podium today. And my guy Mark Grody, 670 the score, he
shout out to Grody.
Grody, he stepped in there and asked him, what the hell happened on the first play of the game when you missed Keenan Allen? So I thought this exchange, to me, it put a smile on my face. I think it's what you want to hear from your quarterback. So go ahead. Here's Grody and Caleb.
A ton of good throws in this game.
Yep.
And I know we've zeroed in on the beginnings of games just about every week. I know this is micro, but that first throw.
Yeah, it was frustrating. Keenan.
Yeah,
it was really frustrating. Keenan ran a great route, ran up, pushed, didn't push off, but ran up, pushed up on his route, snapped off, and the ball was just a little too much juice and a little too far behind him, so he couldn't react. And, frustrating. Definitely frustrating. But, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Got to find a way.
So he's up there in a Santa Claus hat.
He is.
That was the last question of the press conference. He's walking off when he's saying "Go Bears." He's owning that play was 1,000% on him. We're in the right direction here.
Sure.
He's showing that he's not defeated. I'm not coming up here moping and my career, whatever's going to be here in Chicago is over. And Grody didn't even finish the question. He just owned it. So I don't want to make too much of it, but I think if you're trying to figure out his mindset right now with 2 games to go in the season on a 9-game losing streak with a lot up and down, it doesn't sound like a dude that's completely defeated out there at all. It's borderline the opposite.
No, he doesn't seem to be that way, right? Not as a person, not at his press conferences, not in the games. We've seen him continue to fight and play well in the fourth quarter and bring them back from multiple scores down. He doesn't give up. He doesn't throw in the towel. I don't think that's who he is. Even though this experience of losing is all new to him, he's not handling it in a way that says, "I'm incapable of dealing with it." And you gotta like that. And he's very, very accountable, right? He'll tell you no, I'll screw that up, right? Yeah. He'll tell you. If you listen to him, he'll tell you when his teammates screwed up. But he's not one of those guys. He doesn't duck the smoke. Remember, I asked him that way, way early. Dude, you coming in here, you talking about Super Bowls and MVPs and all this. I'm like, why are you not ducking the smoke? He's like, well, I duck. Right? It's here. So that seems to be who he is, and that works well in Chicago.
Yeah, and so his numbers yesterday, just for those who might have forgotten, 26 of 40, 334, a couple of touchdowns, the 45-yard beauty to Keenan Allen. His streak now is at 326 without a pick.
I don't care. I hate that stat.
Okay, and that's cool. I hear you. But it is the 6th longest in NFL history. 6th longest in NFL history. I've been sitting here saying throw a pick every week, Herb. So I feel you there. But it's also like, wait a second here. Who's on that list? So Aaron Rodgers has it. 402 in 2018.
Yeah.
2022, old man Tom Brady with the Bucs threw 399.
Yeah.
So 3 behind it. Jared Goff.
Makes sense.
383, 22 and 23 combined. And then Brady had another run all the way back in 2010, 2011, 358. And my guy Derek Carr rounding out top 5, 332. So Caleb, 6 more passes, he's going to be in the top 5. Will pass Derek Carr.
So when I say I hate the stat, I mean in the context of Caleb this year, right? It makes a whole lot of sense with Aaron Rodgers, right? He's protecting the football, but he's also taking shots down the field. Makes a whole lot of sense with Tom Brady. He's going to take what's there. He's going to read it. Boom, 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 boom. 7 passes later, touchdown, right? The stat itself is fine. The context of it with Caleb, I don't like it because what I hear and what I also connect to these things are the unnecessary sacks, not getting out on 3rd down, right? Not taking shots down the field. It's like, okay, that's fine, right? Like,
I get it. I throw the ball. Don't take the punishment. You're sitting, what is he at? 60 sacks, whatever it is. It's too many.
I'd gladly take 5 of those sacks off for interceptions.
Yeah,
stop it.
Well, and also he's thrown balls that should have been picked. He's had some good fortune.
Sure. Oh, you got to have some good luck with that too. Yeah. I mean, some picks are just bad luck anyway, so you got to have some good luck with that too. And fine, like he's taking care of the ball. I'm not saying that he's not doing that, but it's just like, bruh, put the ball in harm's way. It's like, hey, I didn't burn the house down on the stove. Yeah, but you also didn't cook. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like it's we like, come on, man.
Yeah, no,
it's cool, not tripping, but like throw the ball, bro.
Well, and it's
how many picks did Peyton Manning throw his rookie year? Like 28. Like,
sure, and also, well, not the same thing, but the last time they won a game,
he threw a pick.
He threw the DJ was wide open. We were sitting right next to each other.
I'm still mad at that pick, though.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the picks I'll take. I won't take that one. I was so mad.
That was a bad pick. DJ was wide open. He waited, then he threw it, then it was picked. He hasn't thrown one since then. Which is wild. Yeah. And he hasn't really thrown a ball that bad, honestly, since then. That ball was terrible.
That was awful.
Now, he's had some, way too tall overthrows that you're like, that doesn't look great. But as far as that ball, waiting and then massively underthrowing DJ and having it picked, he hasn't done that. We're coming up against our first love of sponsors, I like to call it.
Love of sponsors.
But it's interesting that Keenan is coming on here. Best game as a Bear yesterday, 140 plus. He's been Thomas Brown has been, since he's taken over, Keenan's been getting the football a whole lot more in the 6 games. I think it's 62 throws his way. And it's just kind of interesting to me that this guy's likely not here, and you're leaning on him a ton.
Yeah.
So that's like, I'm not saying it's going to fall apart without Keenan, but I would be pivoting away from that in the final 2 if I'm the Bears. You're not trying to win. You are trying to build chemistry. He's got it's coming up with Rome too and all that, but I just don't. That thing is it's just a little bit like if I'm the Bears, I'm not dialing up a million plays for Keenan Allen right now because I don't think he's going to be here.
You'd probably see that if there was some coaching stability, if there wasn't going to be a turnover on the entire coaching staff. Those guys don't care. Brian Post might care, but he ain't calling the plays. Thomas Brown, like, hey, I'm trying to win.
Right. Well,
that ain't happening either. But I'm just saying
that is most definitely not happening. All right, hey, Bears got some stuff going on at left tackle with Braxton Jones. We'll talk about that and it's kind of interesting comments about Karan Amagaji and why he was not active yesterday. But first, and Lance break's coming up at the bottom of the hour here. 15 minutes on your podcast if you're an audio listener. Shout out to our friends at Verilife. Looking for the perfect way to elevate your day? Verilife Dispensary. You got everything you need. Premium cannabis products to expert advice. New to cannabis connoisseur. They got the bud tenders there. There's 8 convenient locations. Those bud tenders will help you wherever you go. Check it out. Go to verilife.com, find the location nearest to you, and when you go in there and you mention the code CHGO25 in store, you get 25% off a one regularly priced item. So listen, don't miss out on the latest deals, exclusive offers, verilife.com. But go into that store, hook yourself up. Verilife also proudly offers a price match guarantee, ensuring you get the best value by matching local competitors' prices on eligible products. Mention that code CHGO25 in store, receive 25% off one regular price item. Restrictions do apply. And after you get hooked up at Verilife,
come hang out with us Thursday night, man.
Yeah, exactly. Go get your Bears tickets on Game Time Picks. Game Time will hook you up. The new feature that's gets your tickets even easier. They filter out the fluff, incredible deals, great seats. You see where you're sitting. You can do the what I like to do, which is the all-in pricing. You don't want
my favorite part of it right there.
You don't want to be, you want to see what row. Up top is cool for some, maybe last row, but I like to be a little low down up top. You want to look at it. Get the panoramic view from your seat. Game Time ticket coverage too. Purchases guaranteed. So if you can't do it, there are provisions put in there if you lose your job, such and such. Game Time will take care of you. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create that account. Redeem code is CHGO. $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Thank you. Woo. All right. Don't worry about it, Herb. It's okay.
Sorry, I was a little distracted in my head.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Believe me. Chad could be aggressive right now. So Braxton Jones, the news is, I guess, fairly positive in that it seems like it's a clean break, and that it's a 4 to 5 month recovery. Not, some people thought this could be, multiple things, so he might miss a year. Braxton go into his last season. Tevin's got the calf injury, so whether he can push himself out there. It seems like Braxton obviously has a better chance, I think, starting next year, but both those spots will be worth paying attention to in the offseason, see how the Bears attack it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get this O-line situated, and as much as Braxton has been a win, he's been a net win for a 5th-round pick out of Southern Utah to come in and be a left tackle starter for you for multiple seasons. That's a win. But his ceiling isn't much higher than what we've seen. And you need an elite player over there. So, the idea that he was going to be the guy going forward, I probably wasn't really for that anyway. And now you drafted Carman Amon-Ra with your 3rd-round pick. Now, 3rd-round picks are supposed to turn into starters, right? You got your 1st and 2nd rounders. You expect them to come in and be day 1 starters. 3rd-round pick, develop into a starter, right? I don't know how that happens for him now. You got Darnell Wright on the right side. And there's no way for me you can go into next season without solidifying the left tackle spot. You can't go in there and say, "Oh, Carman can start for us at left tackle." How do you go with that as a plan?
Right.
So now you got to get in a free agent that's going to cost you some money and some years, or you draft one that's going to cost you some years. And so when does Carman Amon-Ra, your 3rd-round pick, become what is going to be your swing tackle?
Yeah, and there's also he wasn't up yesterday because, as Thomas Brown said in his press conference today, that Larry can play both sides. And Carman, it wasn't so much of a demotion all the way to you don't have a jersey. It was more of a, this is the situation we're in, so we need somebody who can play both, and Braxton's back, so you're not starting. Now, crystal ball.
Can you kick him inside?
So that's what's interesting. Like, look, you have this week's messed because you're not going to have any real practice, and you're just going to show up there on Thursday. And I mean, Brown said in his presser today that we'll see what happens. They're going to compete. When's that happening?
Right.
In a walkthrough,
They're
who's
not
paying
gonna,
attention?
Right. There aren't going to be any padded practices between today and Thursday.
So I have no idea what that looks like. And if it's me, look, give him the help that he needs.
Sure.
DeAndre Swift, whoever's in the backfield, if someone's coming off that edge, you better be there.
Sure.
Number one responsibility versus anything else. Then you can leak out or focus on whatever else is happening on that offensive line.
Yeah, but that sucks, though.
It does. It totally
because
sucks.
It limits you offensively. It takes away one of your weapons offensively. That's one thing. But if you have to do this to, plan for a game record, right? Some teams have those game records. We got to plan for this guy or he will ruin your week.
Yep.
But just to do it because we aren't good enough, that sucks.
It does, but you spent a third-round pick on him. You're 4-11. I'm not playing Larry Borum. I'm just not. You're here. We did this. There's 2 games left in the season. Caleb, you got get
it out.
You got to know what's up over
get
there.
It out.
We are doing this to you. We think you can handle it.
Ryan Poles has to make that call.
Yeah.
Thomas Brown isn't going to make that call, and I would go as far as say maybe he shouldn't make that call, but Ryan Poles probably should.
Yeah,
he's give the kid a couple games. He gets one primetime game at home, and then he gets to go initiate himself at Lambeau and let it be whatever it is, and hope that it doesn't cost Caleb offseason time with an injury. Knock on wood.
Which would be the worst possible. So look, okay. Let's just say that you're in that level of terror. I can't play this guy.
Did you see?
I did. I saw.
Did you see the Minnesota game?
Yeah, but
you see how he turned that corner?
I did, but I also saw when they gave him help, it was fine. You got to give him a little bit of help.
Every snap? We got to do this all the time?
No, run the ball. Put the ball on the ground. Let's get some play action. Let's get some stuff going on here. And when you are trying to hit something a little bit deeper, well, then protect them.
Sure, if you know it's a deep play action, you know it's 7-step, sure. But if it's 3-step and it's second down, I'm not really thinking that if there's a free path around my left. Listen, the kid could get better. I'm saying he was hurt all of last season at his own college game for the most part. He misses the entire offseason. He's not ready to go. No training camp, no preseason, hasn't played, and then he plays, and then it's his first time he's starting that left. He can get better. I'm not saying that he's a bust already. I'm saying I'm scared.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm scared too. I'm not saying I'm doing this with full confidence. But now we got, Gary Ross in the chat. Everyone's an offensive line expert. He's got no kick step and this, that. Look, they started him. They saw enough to start him one game. If you did it then, he's in there, and you did it on the road, and you told him on the plane on the way up there, hey, man, I'm telling you on Monday, you are starting against the Seahawks. And by the way, you're starting in Green Bay. So
let's go, kid.
Let's go. And you've talked to Carman. I've talked to Carman. Is a likable, hardworking dude.
That's beautiful.
So Larry Borum, no, enough. There's no upside there. You are in full development mode. Hey, Bears, good job. You got Tyler Scott back there returning kicks. Drafted him in the 4th round last year. Let's throw him the football now. Let's just, this is the time of year you're in. Let's live in reality here.
I'm not mad at it, Carm. I'm telling you, the only thing that can happen that can go bad is Caleb gets hurt and misses springtime or worse, summertime.
If you're thinking,
that's the only bad thing that can happen to this entire season at this point.
So, okay, if you're thinking that way, then let me ask you.
Not that they have a great option at left tackle either way.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. It ain't like Larry Borum's been killing it over there. He could get him killed too. Excellent point. Yeah. And also, if you are thinking that way, then is it worth him playing the last 2 games?
Yeah, he's got to get his. Let me not frame it that way. He's got to get his Lambeau initiation too.
Okay, obviously he's playing. But if we're also worried about him getting hurt, then maybe he should sit the last 2. He's got 3,271 yards, the 6th most in Bears history. He's 3 behind Cutler of 2010 when he had 3,274. He's got an outside shot of going all the way and passing Eric Kramer if he goes nuts in the next 2.
That's beautiful.
So, in no in no world can you say that he hasn't shown you, even if you want to be skeptical, Caleb, he's absolutely shown you flashes that this guy can do it.
Oh, yeah.
To the most negative person there.
Oh, yeah. You've seen everything you need to see to know that he's your guy.
Right. So does he need to play the last two? Does he need it for his own confidence? I don't think he needs it for his confidence. Does he? But, just to finish out the year, play every single game, feel good about it, and maybe perhaps you, I don't know, win a game in the next two to rid the losing streak. That would be sweet.
Then why am I playing Jalen Johnson? Why am I playing Montez Sweat? Why am I playing?
Because you're not as
Darnell
important.
Wright?
Because you're not as important as the quarterback.
Why am I playing?
Because you're not as important as the quarterback.
Okay.
And we pay you a lot of money.
All right.
And I mean, listen, Montez.
Gonna be a lot of business decisions made out there.
Okay. Hey, I'm willing to hear that too. Your top 6 guys that you don't want out there getting hurt. Go ahead. I'm here for the draft pick at this point.
At this point,
I looked at. Listen,
they like? They're like around like 5 or 6 right now.
They're still 9.
Really?
Yeah, but they're 4-11 along with the Jets and Carolina. Kind of. There's got to be some irony there if the Bears finish with a worse record than the Panthers. But Carolina's at Tampa and at Atlanta. They're going to be obviously underdogs in both those.
There we go, Steven.
But possible, right? That I could see a 5th win there. Atlanta's playing Michael Penix. Like, come on, unlikely, but Panthers been playing good football. They'll be in the game. The Jets, you killing me. Aaron Rodgers can't beat the Raiders. They're 4-11. Can you get a 5th win at Buffalo or home versus Miami? That would be sweet. So Bears could move up to 8 or move up to 7. And then your 3-12s, which are interesting too. Raiders are at the Saints, home with the Chargers. New England, 2 home games, Chargers and Buffalo. They just nearly beat the Bills yesterday on the road. Maybe that game means nothing for Buffalo. Possible. Yeah. And then teams that are going to get a win at 3-12, Jacksonville and Tennessee, they play each other this week. So someone's getting to 4. You got to go through all the tiebreakers, but I think we want the Bears have beaten both of them. So that we need somebody to win out of those 2. Houston.
Yeah, those tiebreakers are killing us.
Yeah, man. Houston is Tennessee's second game at home. Jacksonville's at Indy. The Browns 3-12. They're home with Miami at Baltimore. That's not going to work.
Yeah, Will Levis just doesn't throw that egregious pick 6 to Tyreek. We lose that one too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep. And also just looking up at the Saints 5-9, who the Bears could in theory catch. They're at Green Bay tonight. Then they get the Raiders at home. You could beat the Raiders, right? New Orleans, that'd be sweet. If the Raiders aren't going to, unless that game could help the Bears in either way. And then they're at the Bucs. Giants are going to get the 1 pick. They're going to tank this thing like no one's ever tanked it.
They should.
Yeah,
they should. And then they should run back Hard Knocks offseason because that was great to watch. That show probably never happens again. They gave up so much. Like, there was just, like, great for all of us, but there was so much content in that thing. It was like, oh, y'all letting us see really getting a peek at this whole thing.
Yeah.
Now Saquon's an MVP candidate.
Well, when I think about that one, that's exactly who I think about. I think that's who Bears fans should think about. The Bears were sniffing around there.
Yeah.
Didn't want to pay the freight. Dude's an MVP candidate. Let me go get this DeAndre Swift. No disrespect to DeAndre Swift, but he ain't Saquon Barkley.
He is not Saquon Barkley.
9 carries for 20 yards yesterday.
I heard when Saquon did the backwards hurdle in the game.
Yeah,
we were on the road somewhere, and I went to it's probably London, in fact, because I feel like it was good vibes in the locker room. So it's probably London. I go up to Dre in the locker room. I said, "Hey, you've had a couple of nice hurdles this year." Because to that point, he had like 2 nice ones where he hurdled a guy and landed in stride. I said, "But have you seen what Saquon did today?" And he was like, "I mean, I seen it." I was like, "Don't do that.
Yeah.
What we're not gonna be is a hater. We're not gonna do that." He's like, "No, you're right. That was cold. Like, that was sick." Like, Saquon is a different dude.
Yes, and hey Ryan, you were there. You were thinking about it.
Yeah.
Let's be sexy this offseason.
Do the thing that makes sense. It's right in front of you.
Let's do some. Let's be a little sexier this year. All right, Lance break's coming up, but first,
Professor,
we are sponsored by the Chicago Sports Network, the new home of the Blackhawks, Bulls, and White Sox. CHSN is broadcasting 300 live games per year across those Blackhawks, Bulls, and Sox, and they got a full lineup of original Chicago-focused sports content. Chicago-based, Chicago-built, Chicago to the core. They're bringing it to every corner of Chicago, 77 neighborhoods and beyond at CHSN. Chicago comes first. Visit CHSN.com for more info on how to watch the Bulls, Hawks, and Sox games all season long. And shout out to our friends at ComEd. The ComEd people want you to know that they can help businesses save money by becoming more energy efficient. You might not know that ComEd did that. It's true. It is the energy efficiency program. It can help find up to 35% in energy savings. Businesses not doing it, perhaps they did not know that you got to sign up for a free facility assessment at ComEd.com/biz. And why aren't they doing it? The only thing they can figure out is maybe they forgot the website. ComEd.com/biz, ComEd.com/biz, ComEd.com/biz. There you go. That should do it. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change. Actual savings will vary by customers' energy uses and rate. ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is funded in compliance with state law. Lance Briggs is going to be coming up here as we're going to look at the Bears defense.
So,
how bad is this defense, sir? But go ahead, whatever you want to go.
Well, I just wanted to go back to the draft for just a second.
Okay,
right?
Sure.
The Bears got to fill out these holes on the offensive line.
Yep.
It's going to be determined by what they do in free agency, right? So how do they set their draft board in terms of, okay, do we think we can answer this problem in the draft? And then whatever problem they don't think they can answer in the draft, they got 3 in the top 55?
Sure.
Right? Something like that. If they don't think they can answer the problem there, then they got to go spend on it. So once free agency hits, we'll have a pretty good idea of what they're trying to do in the draft. I hope, right? Unless they try to get tricky and cute again.
So let's go down a deeper road in this whole situation.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to put you in Kevin Warren's seat.
Sure.
All right. You're here. You're hanging out. You're Bears, who you were hoping were going to, if we rewind it back, we are ready to win, take a major step forward, all the things. Ryan Pauls himself, when they tried to pin him down, he said improvement. We have not improved.
We have not.
We have most definitely not.
We have gone the other way.
We are the other way. 9 losses in a row. Could tie the franchise record with 10 this week. Could pass it in Green Bay. Okay, all that. You've got $80 million to spend. You've got 3 big-time draft picks to use.
Yep.
Are you, if you're Kevin Warren,
mm-hmm.
Are you saying, I am good with you, Ryan Pauls? Put yourself in his shoes right now. He's sitting there watching this. He's seeing what everyone is seeing. 3,200 yards from Caleb. Defense falling apart. 0 accountability anywhere. Fire the head coach. Fire the offensive coordinator. I thought Thomas Brown was going to make some level of difference. That ain't happening. Your locker room is, at least in my mind, is kind of whacked right now.
Sure.
Are you bringing back Ryan Pauls if you're Kevin Warren?
Yes. I don't think – I'm not as down on Ryan Pauls as some of the talk is around here. I think that it's kind of this recency bias is a product of this season and how it's gone because I didn't hear this conversation before the season. Like, if we were talking about this going into the season, like, hey, this roster really sketchy. I don't like it. Then fine. But because they've lost – I don't think you get to go back and say, well, now the roster sucks. Either it sucked in September or it's not his fault now. Like, it can't be both. And I wasn't hearing these conversations in September. Now, if you want to get on about the O-line, I am right there with you. I will bang that drum with you all day. Do they try to build this thing backwards and go weapons before trenches? Yep, I'm all in for that. But other than that, a couple misses in free agency, Chase Claypool, I was always against that.
Right.
But other than O-line, I'm not really mad at Ryan Pauls. I'm not like that. Now, he does have to fix it this offseason. Now, I know the timing of it sucks, and we try to marry it with a coach, but the timing is what the timing is. I don't think he's done such egregious work that he needs to be fired right now. I don't believe that.
So here's a way of looking at it from that's from I asked you from Kevin's perspective.
Yeah.
I'm asking you from a Bears fan perspective. I'm asking you from Jay Evans and James Robnett and Michael B.A. support in there right now.
Sure.
Do you think that do Bears fans want the Bears to run this back? Because if you say, okay, fire Pauls, now, in addition to the degree of difficulty of finding the right head coach, and now you got to find a GM who's going to come in here, assess what the Bears have, figure that out in short order, and then spend that $80 million and use the 3 draft picks wisely. I'm just curious from Bears fans' perspective, would you want that? That is, you are just completely naked and wide open going into Caleb's year 2.
Listen, I get the Bears fans. I love the passion, but it's always so snap decision. Like it's like, and it's one moment to the next. I told you I was walking in Soldier Field. They're yelling at me that the Bears are about to go beat the 12-2 Lions. I'm like, no, they're not. Stop it, right? But it sways so quickly with fans. And that's just a part of it. Cool, right. But no, I don't like. I'm also a Bears fan, right? I happen to be a Bears reporter too, but I've been a Bears fan much, much, much longer. No, I don't look at it and say like, oh, we got to get this dude out of here. That's not what I see. He has to nail this offseason. He has to go get Ben Johnson, preferably, or whatever. You got to get that right.
Yeah.
And then you got to flip this O-line and add to the D-line. But you have all of the resources necessary to be able to do it. He chose a different path than I would have chosen in terms of how you build this O-line. But that's his right to do. He's the GM, right? Now, everybody's like, the only thing we love about this team right now is Caleb. Caleb. Well, who the hell did that?
Right, sure.
Who made that trade?
Fair enough. On the Caleb part. The O-line, I mean, and you said it a second ago, and we've said it a million times on the show. I mean, he's got to own that, and the building the opposite way was bizarre. My whole point on this is if you did a 1 to 100 level, and chat, feel free to weigh on this, 1 to 100, that Ryan will get this right this offseason, where's your confidence level? 1 to 100. 1, I give him a 1% chance. 100, I guarantee you he's going to nail it with his $80 million and the 3 draft picks, and we're going to see a completely different team out there next year. Like I'm curious where people's confidence level is. It's there for him to do.
Sure.
But it's also, I mean, it's a big lift.
I'll go 80% on the roster, right? On the player acquisition. I can't go any higher than 25% on the coach. Just because of the process itself. It's difficult, man. There aren't that many good head coaches in the league, period. So if I say there's 12 good head coaches, that's a third, right? You're talking about like a third of the league?
Sure.
So, I mean, in 33% success rate is the ceiling. And we're the Bears. So I got to bring it down to like 25%. So I got 25% faith that they will get this head coaching thing right. And I've got 80% faith that he'll get player acquisition right. Whatever that comes out to in the wash. So 60-something?
You're at a 60. You're a 60.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the head coaching thing is just hard. I think like it's only got a 33% success rate league-wide. So it's just tough. But I think he'll do right. I think he will flip the offensive line. I think he'll use the cap space and the draft capital to flip the offensive line, add to the defensive line, and those are the holes on this team. That's really all I see. But what I didn't hear was on draft night, I can't believe that they drafted Rome Odunze instead of an O-lineman. I didn't hear that. But I heard, this is the greatest draft I've ever seen in my life. They got Caleb and they got Rome. I didn't hear people saying, hey.
Right, but that doesn't matter what people are saying in my mind. It's whether it worked or didn't.
So now we're asking them what they say?
Well, I'm just curious where they're at. We're all in this together. Where are you at on this? I mean, Gary's, Mr. It's in the Pulse family. He's at 99. And then we got, a couple ones out there and everyone in between, which is about exactly right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it ain't just the O-line. Detroit scored on 6 of their first 7 possessions yesterday. I mean, it is, this is.
The team is done.
The
team is done.
Now, but okay. I think this nugget came out of Patrick Finley. He broke this down. I think it was him. Shout out to Finley either way. But start the season out, Bears are giving up 16 points a game, 311 yards.
Yeah.
Very respectable.
Yeah.
Since the Hail Mary, 28 a game, 400 yards a game.
Yeah.
I mean, I just keep hearing all over the place. Yeah.
See,
This culture is amazing. This culture is great.
Again, though, you're proving my point. You cannot – these are the same people. You can't say, hey, these guys were holding teams to 16 points a game. Now, the same guys are giving up 28. Like, it's the GM's fault. Either they were the right guys when they were 16 or they were the wrong guys. Like, come on.
Or it was
paper. They can't be both, bro.
Well, could it be paper mache? I don't know. Like, I mean, how does it break to this level?
They can't stop the run.
Well,
because two of their best 3 run stuffers
I got it.
have been on the shelf since whenever they went out. And I'm talking about Billings and Jaquan.
Right. Well,
the two of them and TJ are the reason that they can stop the run.
So that's another point, too. Because, hey, listen, I remember sitting down with Andrew Billings in London. He was in a great mood at that point. And then, the injury came and the defense went away. And Hogue was making this point yesterday. Hold on a second. Your whole defense fell apart on a bit player that you got for $3 million that plugged the hole. Like everything else, I mean that's
why they can't. It's the biggest reason why they can't stop the run. The man earned another contract. Like he is a run stuffer. He is the reason that you can't run the ball against the Bears when he's in there. And then you got Jaquan Brisker, who's as physical a strong safety as there is in the league. He runs the alley. He fills those gaps. He gets guys on the ground. 2 of those dudes are gone. It's just the reality of it. I'm not making an excuse. It's just a reason.
No, that's fine, and I will accept that fully. But let me just, on top of that,
also Flus was a great defensive mind.
Well, that too.
Let's not throw that out either.
Okay, we can throw that in there also. Are you telling me that you believe in Jaquan Brisker coming back next year? No chance.
No, I'm not saying no chance.
I say 0.
But
you cannot rely on him. No way.
Okay, cool. But either way, he's not here now. And that's the problem now. He was here to start the season now.
I understand. I'm just adding on to the list of things they need to do. I'm like, everyone's like, oh, and I'm listen, I got it. I hope I'm setting the over-under at 1.5 on the first the first 3 picks that they're going to go all line, and I hope he hits the over. I hope he at least takes 2. But
if he doesn't take 2 in those first 3, come on.
Right.
Now I'll be with you to fire him on draft day. Well, the second day of the draft, I'll be down. I'll be down to fire him if 2 of those first 3 picks aren't offensive linemen.
Okay, just reminder to you that if we do it that way, that'd be too late, and then you'd be all the way through year 2 of Caleb, and now you don't have the same assets, which is why.
Yeah, but I think he's going to do that.
Okay. Well, he better come correct.
What's he going to draft? A receiver?
I don't know what he's going to do. I have no
a punter.
I don't know. I wouldn't have bet on him taking a. Tory Taylor told you that he didn't think he was going to the Bears because they only had 4 picks. I'm not going there. No chance. Huh. Tory Taylor. Okay. I think Lance Briggs is ready to rock and roll from his palatial Briggs estate.
Double nickel.
Lance, can you hear us?
Fellas. Yes, fellas. How we doing?
Good, man. How you?
What a treat. Briggs, we could start with your grades, or I could just actually ask. Let me ask you.
Do you want to fire Lance Briggs? Do you want to fire Ryan Poles Briggs?
Do I want to fire him? Yes, but yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no. And when I say yes and no, I mean we just have done this too often, too much. We all don't have the answers, and I think that at some point we need to keep somebody there. And when we talk about accountability, keep his ass there and say, fix it. Somebody, you know what? It's your job to get our personnel where it needs to be. Fix it instead of having somebody else come in and say, okay, all right, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I want to change this and I want to change this. I want to change that. You have a guy that is here that knows the beat right now. As hard as this sounds, he knows this team better than the next person. Fix it. That's your damn job. We're paying you. You're supposed to come in here and you're supposed to create. Now I want you to. I want you to fix it. I want you to fix it. I want you to right the wrongs. I want you to set the ship right and do what you're supposed to do. What you were brought in here to do. And I think the other piece to that is also, it's not just on him. We now have a president that is involved as well. So it's not just you have more heads, there's more in the brain trust now. There's more in the brain trust now, but we've got to change the way that we do things in Chicago. We can't keep firing and hiring and firing and hiring. That's not the answer for us to get to where we got to go.
Lance, and we're breaking down why, and Herb's got all the reasons, and I'm not disagreeing as to why this Bears defense is horrendous right now. And, Andrew Billings and Jervon Dexter and Jaquan Brisker and Flus all out the door. But we're also teeing up like what needs to be fixed here. And those guys coming back next year and being great seems a little crazy to me. So I think there's more to do than just the O-line. I don't think you're disagreeing with that. But I'm just curious from your perspective, who's been there, done that. Detroit yesterday, 109 on the ground from Gibbs, 143 receiving from Williams, the 82-yard bomb, 475 yards total, 7.3 yards per play.
It's a lot.
7 a play.
It's a lot.
It's almost 7.5. I mean, how bad is this defense? Is this what does this defense have that gives you confidence that it can get back to where it was at the beginning of the season?
Oh, boy. Well, it's tough right now because what I'm seeing on the field right now is a lot of business decisions. I'm seeing a lot of business decisions. You saw it from Jalen Johnson when he gave the little shoulder chuck to help the running back get into the end zone. It's tough. It's really, really tough because, like I said, I see business decisions being made all over the field. And if this is the place that these players want to stay, they're making it very difficult for me to believe that. So yeah, the run stopping stuff or lack thereof. We can't get off the block. We can't get, and there were times where we were in an 8-man front. And I'll tell you, I saw Tremaine. I saw him running downhill. I saw him running downhill. I can't say that I've seen it all year, but he was running downhill, hitting the gap. And somehow, some way, it's leaking to another gap. Another gap is leaking. So we can't seem to get it right. We get into an 8-man front, which you can't run in an 8-man front unless defensively you make a mistake.
Right.
And there's always a mistake. If it's not the linemen, it's the linebackers. If it's not the linebackers, it's the safeties. So it's somebody that is always at risk when we're supposed to be stopping the run.
Can somebody explain to me what Tremaine Edmonds does well? I gotta be honest. I thought I don't get it. $20 million a year. He doesn't look like a $10 million a year player to me.
It's been a thing on my mind for a while, and I want to be fair. I want to have the conversation in a real way that's not just like to hell with him, right? He's a good player, but I thought he was a game changer.
Yeah, okay,
right.
Thank you.
Satisfaction is directly linked to expectation, and the expectation was you are a game changer, not just a good guy to have out here. He does create problems in the red zone with his length and athleticism. When the field gets kind of tight, he's tough to navigate, right? For a quarterback.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah. It's why the Bears have been so. It's one of the reasons why the Bears have been so good in the red zone for most of the season.
Okay.
So I'll give him that, but he is not this difference-making, game-changing Lance Briggs, Urlacher, and I'm usually not the guy like let's go all the way Hall of Fame on a guy. But I thought he was a difference-making type of guy, and
Yeah, I agree with you. With the height that he brings to the table, you would think he'd be in play for a lot more of these throws that these quarterbacks make. At the very least, tipping some of these footballs that are thrown. Becoming more effective. And I think that's part of what you expect from Tremaine, as far as defensively, and it just hasn't hasn't been the change that we had hoped for. You know, at the end of the day, it hasn't been the change we hoped for. He's not the difference maker that we had hoped for. He's still a good linebacker. Don't let me take anything, but he's also a product of an environment in this defense. And I thought that we had seen a bit of a change from him early on in the season, but the decline of this defense this year has been with everyone. You know, maybe outside of maybe TJ Edwards might be the exception, but it's been a heavy, steep decline.
Would you move him anywhere, Lance, or that makes no sense with Tremaine?
No, I wouldn't move him. No, he's a natural Mike. He's a natural inside backer. Yeah, but you know, it's there's right now there are no quick answers. There are no answers right now defensively. Defensively, you know, the first thing that I would say to this team right now is we have to, anything else, we have to stop the run. Okay, we have 8 men in the box. Every gap is accounted for. They cannot run. So we have to find a solution for that. Because we don't have a solution for that. We don't have a solution for anything.
I'll give one more defensive question, and I want to get to your grades because I'm always fired up for the Briggs grades. If they switched, Lance, and went 3-4, would you be excited about that, or would you think that'd be crazy?
Well,
I know you have to have a lot more information, but just on the surface of it.
No, it's not 3-4. It's not the answer. That's not the answer for good defensive play. You know what I mean? And the problem with saying, okay, the defense that we have right now is not working right now. The personnel is not working. So the answer is going to be to go to a different type of defense. No, the answer is to teach it better, be more detailed. All right. There are things that we do not see with this team. We don't see them communicating. We don't see them calling out alerts on the field. They're very quiet. And when you're very quiet, you assume what everybody else is doing. When you assume, you're wrong. You make yourself wrong. You put yourself out there. So you're wrong in a lot of ways. So I believe that there's a lot of details that are missing out. Now, if you bring in and run a 3-4, you're going to find some of the same problems if you have a coach that doesn't practice these doggone details. Okay, and so it comes down to which coach. If you went and got the D coordinator that's coaching at Kansas City right now, Spagnuolo, all right, you're going to get a more detailed defensive team, you know, in this same 4-3 scheme. All right. Right now, Kansas City's defense is what's carrying them and has been carrying them this year, in spite of, you know, subpar play or subpar as far as his standard play from Mahomes.
I think that, like, you talk about flipping to 3-4. I think some of the Bears pieces will fit, but some of them I don't know, right? So if you go to 3-4 next year, bring in a coach that wants to go 3-4 next year. Ryan Poles has drafted and built a roster largely for a 4-3, right? Yep. But do I think that Billings could be a good nose? Sure. I think Dex could be pretty solid at DN in the 3-4. What does Montez play in that? Like, right. You just leave him at DN.
It's like a hybrid.
You talk about a $100 million 3-4 DN. That's, I guess, you know what I mean? I don't think you can turn him into an outside linebacker. I don't think that.
He was a fish out of water dropping yesterday. Did you see him in coverage? Yeah. He was terrible.
Not good.
Well, but why is he even dropping in coverage? I'm like, what do you like? They had Sanborn rushing the quarterback, and then you had Sweat dropping back. How does that make any sense?
You know, I don't know. I honestly, Carm, I was thinking that a little bit myself, but there was something in the game plan that said, okay, maybe this would work, and it did not.
That was an 0 for 1 right there. All right, let's dial it up here. You ready, Professor?
Let's do it.
Do we have the? Oh my God!
Yes,
the intro.
Professor is back.
Where's glasses on?
I wouldn't put no B+. There's no way. That is the lowest grade I've given this year.
We got sound bites and everything. I'm gonna put on the glasses for Lance right now.
There we go.
Also,
Thank you, Carm. Appreciate you.
I got you.
You look good.
Got you.
All right, fellas, let's start it off. Offense. A crazy F. Yep. Here's a wild one. There's another F for offense. Okay, listen. They were able to muster up 17 points, and yes, they put up some numbers. But there wasn't even close to what we need. You know, there was still errant passes. We weren't able to rush. The way we'd like to. Fellas, is there any argument to? There it is. Herb, you look good, brother.
There we go.
Is there any argument to an F for offense, guys?
Yes, I'm going to push back on. I mean, 340, 26 of 40. I don't know if I'm going to give him an F.
You got to throw for 340 when you're down 20-0. The run game's done.
Hey, look,
down 20-0. In part because y'all turned the ball over twice in the first half.
The throw to Keenan down the sidelines. You
Great
got to
throw.
at least give me a D. Can I get to a D on that?
One play?
For a throw?
Well, he threw for 340 on top of it. No, I mean that was 45.
You'll throw for 340 if
I will not.
If you're down 20-0. There's all passes being called.
Carm,
part of them throwing
figures,
for that much too was
Carm,
DeAndre Swift had 20 rush yards.
Yeah, Lance.
yes. Carm, figures lie and liars figure. So when you look at 340 yards, like how deceptive is that in regards to how close we come to winning the game? Now, if you have 340, you go 340 total yards, and we lose the game, by scoring 28 points or 29 points. That's completely different because now we actually have a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Look, if you want to tell me, Lance, that you're giving them an F because they turned it over twice, and the reason why the game got out of hand was because the offense didn't take care of the ball, and I don't care what you're doing when the Lions are just trying to basically make you kill time. I suppose I can hear the logic. I'm still not giving them an F. I've seen an F of Bears offense, and this was far from a normal Bears offense F. They're getting at least I'd actually give them a C, but
it's 17.
I'll tell you what, Carm. Usually grades are all final, but I'll tell you what. I'll give them an F plus. Okay, there we go.
F plus.
All right, I'm gonna take that as a win. I moved them an inch.
There you go.
There we go. That's more than the Bears defense did yesterday. Okay, here we go.
Defense, get a whopping F. Here we go, guys. We are averaging giving up 30 points. 30 points. That is who we are defensively. Still can't find a way to stop the run. And I'm seeing a lot more business decisions, like I said, out there. And especially when you have your arguably your best player that gives a shoulder shrug to help the running back get into the end zone.
Did anybody see Zach Pickens' sack?
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird. He kind of like.
Did he touch him? Was that what happened?
I feel like he got his foot or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Good for Zach. I told him in the locker room. I was like, "That was your first one, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's what's up, man. Good job, bro."
Yeah, congrats.
He had a half a sack last year in Week 4 against Denver. That was, by the way, their 14th loss in a row. Shout out Zach Pickens, my man.
Glad that they didn't have a dance routine for the sack. That was comforting.
One sack on the day they hit Jared Goff 3 times. I am not going to push back on this F.
No, it's not good. And you're seeing those business decisions out there, especially from Jalen Johnson. I've been noticing it because he's not usually a business decision kind of dude. He's a corner that'll stick his nose in there and make tackles.
Yeah.
Earlier in the game, the Lions had the ball. They were going towards the north end zone, right sideline. Tight end's caught a pass, and he's coming up the right sideline. I can't remember. It might have been Jonathan Owens or maybe it was Kevin Byard that was about to kind of going with the tackle. And then Jalen was coming up in support, had a clean chest shot if he wanted it. And he was like, I'll just go out of bounds. You know what I mean? It's like, he's like, hey man, we 4 and whatever, and I'm not putting pads on dudes right now, man. One play down in San Francisco, he had a shot at the back of the goal line. I don't think he stops him from scoring, but he could have took the shot at the goal line if he wanted it. And he was like,
absolutely,
I'm good.
Yeah.
And see the thing about and the problem with that, Herb, is that once you stop doing that, once you stop playing from a competitive standpoint, where you say, okay, I'm checking out, I think it's really hard to get it back. You know what I mean? Even if you have a coach, so you come in, you have a coach that everybody believes in. Let's say Spagnuolo comes over and he starts installing the defense. It's like, all right, I'm going to play hard while we're winning. And then when you start to see a loser, you go on a losing streak, you'll start to see that stuff start to creep in because you've allowed it to creep in. You see it, to me, I saw it in Eddie Jackson. Let's use Eddie Jackson as an example. Eddie Jackson was all world, all pro safety. Then all of a sudden there you saw this drop off, and then you're like, well, you had a year where you're like, well, maybe he's coming back. He's having a little bit of a year this year. But then they get into that losing skid again, and we're like, nope, that's the old Eddie we know. So to me, you should never lose your competitive edge or your competitive, whatever it is. Like once you lose it, I think it's really hard to get back, and that's unfortunate.
Bobby Knight had a great quote about Mike, and he was like, Michael Jordan is the only player I've ever seen that could flip the switch and turn it on and off. He was like, and he never turned it off. He's the only person that could do it, and he never turned it off.
And he never turned it off. Yep. That's why he has his own brand. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Special teams.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. I was just thinking, your Eddie Jackson thing made me think, like, did anybody pick him up? Did the Ravens cut him? Bears could have used a safety, but like even if he's on the street, they didn't want him. Okay, go ahead. Special teams.
Special teams. I gave special teams a C. Listen, we had a kudos to Cairo Santos, and for a reach during this season, I think a C is a hell of a grade. All right, it's something that Mom can be proud of at this point.
He's got a new A's around here.
I mean, in the Carm grades, which you can read at ALLCITY.com, I've been giving special teams an A each week because just what's the point? Cairo made his field goals. Torrey dropped a couple inside the 20. Yeah. Yesterday, I mean, Tyler Scott averaged 24 yards a return. A. And you know what? It doesn't matter. 4th round pick.
I told Josh Blackwell, I thought you were gonna have a chance to go 109 yards on that missed kick, man. He was like, I was trying. He's like, I should have tipped it back to myself. And I said, man, that ball just went a little too far on you. But I was like, he might get a chance to go Devin Hester on this one.
I like Josh Blackwell.
Fellas, coaching is an F. Yep. And listen, it's unfortunately for Thomas Brown and the coaching staff, you're just at a point now where we're just not seeing a motivated or inspired team on the field. There are times where when Caleb threw that first touchdown, what I loved the most about that was the energy that he showed, and regardless of what's going on in the season, like that touchdown looked like it meant something. And so that's something to carry on into next year or even these last 2 games and into next year, is keep that same energy, Caleb. Keep that same energy.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, how he doesn't seem to be succumbing to the losses.
So Lance, let's do a carmathetical here. You were on staff. You were in Thomas Brown's position. You rose up through the ranks. We'll do it the other way though. You got promoted to defensive coordinator. You were kicking ass there. They're like, you know what, Lance, we're gonna make you the head coach. We're gonna give you 5 games to prove yourself. Would you start calling guys out in ways that Thomas Brown has been seemingly unwilling to do? He just hasn't. I've been surprised that he has sort of played the nice guy act here.
Publicly, for sure.
Publicly, every week. He's not gonna say boo about anybody. And I'm kind of like, this is your opportunity to put your imprint of your integrity on this football team. And maybe he's doing it behind the scenes, but certainly publicly he has not at all. I'm confused by it, to be honest.
All right, Carm, first, I don't like the way that you painted this situational picture for me. Okay, you said I worked my way up the chain and then I took over and now I'm the head coach for the Bears who only have 4 wins, right?
That's right. Yeah, this is true. And now you're 0-3, by the way.
I would be on the phone calling all the other coaches that I know because I know after these 2 games, they're going to be firing me, buddy. There's not a lot. What can I do? But what can I do as the head coach? Why would I get in a situation where I'm going to expose players on our team? What good is it going to do at this point of the season with a couple games left now I'm going to cause more disarray, more confusion, and more anger in the locker room. That's not going to, number one, it's not going to win me the job in Chicago. And it sure as hell is not going to win me over the players that are in this locker room. I am an offensive coach or a defensive coach, and I've been with the defense on the defensive side. So I haven't spent much time at all on the offensive side for me to start calling players out like that. I just don't see how it's beneficial. I don't see it.
See, here's my thing. And shout out to the late, great Rachel Frank. Because, when Rachel showed up at Highland Park High School as a substitute teacher, young Carm sat up in his seat, Lance. I wasn't playing finger football and doing whatever I was doing when some of the other, clowns came in there who just didn't care. Substitute teacher day. I sat up and I paid attention. Thomas Brown is he's the substitute teacher who's just letting everybody do what they want. Go ahead and play your video game all game long. You want to go hang out in the lunchroom? I don't care. I'm just gonna get paid for my day here, do what's best. And does it bother you that those kids over there aren't paying attention? Does it bother me? Not really. If they do their homework, it's fine. Whatever. Why not be the? You could be the stern substitute teacher. He's just chosen to be the cool guy. He's just hanging out, school. What's up?
I'm just biding my time. Those kids, those knucklehead kids, those little clowns were clowns before I took over. They must have been clowns before I took over, and now I'm taking over. And you want me to straighten them out? Oh no! They were supposed to be straightened out before now. All right.
Yeah, but listen, I was that clown kid. But when the substitute came in, that was hard nosed. I came correct. Shout out, I'll go back to I never paid attention. Shout out to Hebrew school. That strict teacher made me sit up straight. I actually learned some Judaism those couple days that I was in there. So leadership matters here, Briggs.
Carmen, just like you. Listen, I had big crushes on some of my teachers as I had, growing up too. So yes, you're a substitute teacher. You had a crush on. I get it. I get it. You're finally acting the way you're supposed to in class. Good job, bud.
So I think that
Mrs. Babe, that was a real teacher with a real name.
I think that as much as you talk about just letting the students run amok, I don't know that he's doing that so much as what he said in his introductory press conference. I mean, he was like, listen, we're going to keep our business in-house. He's like, I like all my neighbors I live around. He's like, they're cool people, but they don't know what's going on in my house, right? All this talking publicly, we're going to stop that. And I think you've seen that come from the players, and I think you see it from him. Somebody asked him directly today in the press conference, I don't remember who it was, but about the 80-yard touchdown. Yeah. And they was like, well, is it Jonathan Owens' fault or is it Tyreek? And he's like, it's everybody's fault.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But if you listen to him closely on that one, he said it was Jonathan Owens' fault. You can't
flat-footed and
you got to keep the roof on the house. Yeah. So I think that's how he put it.
But when they try to get him to specifically say, because I think they thinking like you, dude, call somebody out. They're like, yeah, no.
Well, Lance did on Twitter. He called him Mr. Biles. So told him that he's got to.
Hey, stop that, man.
You got to figure it out now.
Y'all stop that, man. That is so disrespectful. Y'all are rude, man.
He started that. He did it. He did it to himself. I'm just following up.
Mr. Biles, you got to be the deepest guy out there, Mr. Biles.
Y'all are terrible,
you
man.
Tweeted.
Y'all are terrible, man.
I thought that was kind of funny. I responded.
Y'all are bad people.
All right, hey, Lance, who started at left tackle for you on Thursday?
Borum.
Okay.
Larry Borum. We're in a spot, man. We're in a spot. It's not like we were in a good spot before the injury, but that's probably it, man. We're out of options. We're light on options right now. It's him or somebody off the street now. And
Magaji and trying to see what you can get out of the kid for 2 weeks. You don't like that route?
Could see what they look like. See what they look like during the week.
They don't have a week. They don't have it's 2 walkthroughs in a game.
Greg Braggs, cut this clip and talk about Bears enthusiasm. Offensive line options with Lance Briggs and Bears fans, because that you just mirrored the whole fan base right there.
It's tough, man.
Borum.
It is. It's tough. I mean,
I'm glad that we are not the ones that have to make those decisions, fellas. I'm really happy that we're in a good place here at CHGO, and and I love my family.
It's tough. It's tough out here, Book. Anything else stood out to you for the game before we let you ride?
A lot of people try to take the positives out, and the positives are that Caleb threw for whatever he threw for, and that's awesome. You know what I mean? But those yards have to equate to something. They have to. You can't put up 300-400 yards and we only get 17 points. Okay, so when you do that, just like Herb, you've said before, like that stuff is deceptive. It's like a running back getting 100 yards, but we're blowing that team out. So they're getting it off of draws, especially in prevention situations for the defense. So everyone's playing back and they're handing the ball off and they're getting cheap 10, 15-yard runs when the reality is that wasn't the case in the game. So, yes, it's great that Caleb's able to put those yards up. Now it needs to equate to points.
So I'm hearing this right. You're calling it, in essence, empty yards, wasted calories, whatever. I mean, look, this was another note from Pat Finley over the Sun-Times that Caleb Williams hasn't taken a snap with a lead since week 11. Week 11. All right, that's when the Bears led the pack 13-7 in the third quarter of that game. That's the last time he took a snap with a lead. And even like down by a score, just by one score where there's a real game pressure, they trail by more than one score for 9 minutes on yesterday. 9 minutes. Against the Vikings, 9:56. Against the Niners, 13-21. I mean, he's playing with absolutely nothing to lose. Now, that's not, entirely his fault, obviously, or not, maybe not even mainly his fault. But I do think if you want to be in the nervous Bears fan corner, it can make you a little bit nervous about, like, it would be sweet if there was some actual real game pressure on Caleb so we could really see how he would function. Now, by the way, he's had a ton of that and has come through in the fourth quarter, so I don't think this is a big deal. But it is at least somewhat worth being underlined that the dude is just playing from way behind right now, and so there's maybe not a whole lot you can take away from his performance yesterday, which is kind of what you're saying, Lance, or exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, well, the other thing is to try to start fast. You get the bulk of that 340 yards in that first quarter. You get that in the first quarter, then we're probably going to have more than 17 points in the game. So whatever, it's just numbers.
A 23 for 28, 275, 2-3 like that's a stat line I like. I don't get impressed by 340, 350. It's empty yards, bro. Do I love the throw to Keenan? Absolutely. Do I love some of the throws he made? Absolutely. I'm not saying he didn't have any good plays, but I'm saying we take this stat line at the end of the game. It's like, oh, he had 340. So what? Like, we lost. He had 360 in Indy. Yeah. So what? Like, win the game. And you do that by putting up points on the board. 17 ain't going to get it done. Just not. And if that means I'm being too hard on the kid, then whatever. But that doesn't impress me. The interception streak doesn't throw the ball, bro.
Whether you're hard, whether somebody thinks that we're too hard on him, or someone thinks that or we think that somebody is too soft on him, it's not going to change the facts. It's not going to change these games. It's not going to change these W's. All right, that's what we all want, right? We all want W's. We want enough W's that we can be in the number one in the NFC North. We can get to the playoffs, and everybody can start talking about a championship.
Because what it tells me, when you have a different stat line like the one I referred to, that tells me that I'm dictating the flow of the game. I'm dictating what's happening here. I'm dictating when we can run, when we go play action. Like Jared Goff's stat line, somebody said he had 320. They were dictating the game, and he wouldn't have had 320 if he didn't get 80 on one play. He would have been somewhere 250, 275. Mm-hmm. Like, you're dictating what's happening. You're getting guys open. You're doing what you want to do, as opposed to, oh, we're down a dub. Now y'all dictating what I have to do. And so, yeah, you're going to get some of them yards, and he still gets credit for it. It's on his stat line. Cool, but, yeah.
Carm, are you okay with Caleb being under center?
Yes, I like him under center.
Okay, because I'm just saying, because, you know, that if we hired Ben Johnson, who seems to be the front runner. There's a lot of quarterback under center, you know, and to me, that has Chicago written all over it.
Well, look, he says he's interested. That was the report by Tom Pelissero. The Bears better be interested, and I hope that yesterday, I don't know what the right play was. I said this on the post-game show yesterday, but if you needed to keep George McCaskey locked up in a closet upstairs, and maybe the same thing with Kevin Warren. I don't know who was the right move to talk to him, but I hope they did it right. Nice little conversation, little brief thing. You know, maybe throw him a little, hey, I got you hooked up at Chicago, you know, tonight or whatever. Next time you're in town, we'll you know, send you over to our guys at CHGO. They'll take good care of you. Those type of things. I hope that went on.
Ryan Poles always does his pregame walk around the stadium. He gets all of his steps in. He walks around the field, walks around the field. I hope he walked past, hey, and keep your phone ready. Like, keep your ring on, bro. I'm calling in a couple weeks, but
Poles got that confident walk.
He does.
He's got that confident. He's got that walk down.
He does.
Yeah. Hey, 55. Are we gonna see you here on Thursday, or is it a holiday week for you?
We'll see you on Thursday, fellas. Can't wait.
Right. Bears.
I hope you have a great Christmas, Lance. Can't wait to see you Thursday. Appreciate you making time today. 55 is the man, even if his grades
you
are
got it. Have a Merry Christmas, fellas.
Merry Christmas,
Merry. All right, Lance Briggs.
Great
Harsh
Lance Briggs.
grades. F for the offense.
Hey,
although I did get him to an F+. That's a big move. That's a big moment in time.
The professor is one of those tough teachers you were just talking about. You know?
Yeah, yeah. But everyone else is out here like, it's fine. T. Brown can be a substitute teacher. Just you know, do whatever you want over at your desk all day long. It's cool.
Yeah.
Jalen, do what you want.
Even on those unnecessarily celebrations, he's like, you know, it's fine. It's hard to score.
No, it's cool. Tyreek just, you know, he was talking to the crowd in D.C. Now he's, you know, going up to Minnesota, down 10-0. No, ain't no thing.
Yeah,
this is cool.
I mean, the man was pushing uphill the moment they elevated him to interim head coach.
Oh, it's
I'm
not.
not going to kill myself about this.
No, listen, look, Thomas Brown, completely unfair position. I'm not saying that he wouldn't be a good head coach someday somewhere. This is not, you know, he's got 3 interviews before. I would hope that he would get interviews down the line. However, if I'm being unfair, I wanted somebody to come in there and be like, this ain't gonna fly.
I don't think it's unfair because I mean we came into this process like, hey, this could be a legitimate audition, and I was like, I hope it's a legitimate audition for him, and if it has been a legitimate audition, it hasn't been a good one.
No,
not solely his fault, but it hasn't been a good one.
A couple super chats on the way out here. Bear Down Omaha, appreciate you, Bear Down. Y'all forgot the obvious. Bears hire Jason Moss. Anybody?
I looked up who this is. You're not gonna like. It's a CFL coach for the Montreal Alouettes.
Oh, come on!
We're not doing that again. I'm sure he's kidding.
You're being funny, and I like it, but I don't like it.
Maso Manos ain't coming here, Bear Down, but we love you and appreciate you, Omaha. Crystal, you're the best. $10. Hey guys, my 2 faves, Carman, Steven, Joke, hey Herb, Jay.
Wow.
Joke, hey Herb.
Wow.
Sending some love on this Monday. See you guys on Thursday.
Jesus
everyone keep your head up and bear down. Happy holidays, everyone. Crystal's the greatest, and she was hanging out at the tailgate yesterday, and I believe she's going to be, as she said, she's going to be at the tailgate come up on Thursday, 3 o'clock, last one of the year.
Last home game. The season's gone by so fast.
Herb's going to come by, maybe. One chance. Probably not. Okay, fine.
What'd you say, Steven?
What's that?
Oh, okay, I thought you said my bad, bro.
3 o'clock. Let's go. It's gonna be, you know.
Yes, I'm coming.
There we go. Thank you. It's the final one. Little swan song. What else would you want to do the day after Christmas? You know, and tickets to the game are going to be like $4 by game time. Check out the Game Time ticket app.
Game Time app. See what's to it.
Yeah, and you don't even have to go to the game. Just come hang out, and we'll wrap it up. But looking forward to Thursday. And note, we're going. We will not be doing a show tomorrow.
I will be there, Crystal.
Take that, Crystal. No show tomorrow. No show on Christmas. Back at you pregame on Thursday. And rock it on Friday, day after. $5 from Pizzatola. What does Pizzatola want to say? All I want for Christmas is one Bears win and duct tape for Carm's mouth. Happy holidays, you old bastard. Thank you, Pizzy. Back at you, buddy. You I'll be vulnerable. You make my day. Just the banning, the words of hatred and despair. I know behind it deep down, Pizzy, is the love that you have for me and CHGO. I'm picking maybe.
Do you want one more win?
Maybe not for me.
I don't think I do.
I'm
not gonna lie, I don't think I do.
If it depends how much it costs them draft pick wise. Like if they're gonna be stuck at 9 because that's how it folds, then obviously I'd rather have them get a win.
And if I got to pick one, then just go up to Green Bay and rip them, just because that'll be cool. But
yeah, but like
I don't need it this Thursday night. I really don't.
I mean, my worst case scenario here is that the Packers are playing for nothing in the final week of the season. They don't play anyone. The Bears beat them. They lose draft position because of it.
It's fool's cheese.
Yeah, like that's not what we want. No. So I mean, I get it. They're not going to fall farther than 10. They'll probably be at 9. They can move all the way up to 7.
Seahawks playing for something. They're 8-7. They still got a shot.
They're gonna come here with everything they got. Yeah. I don't think the Bears win that game. Maybe they go up there and shock the world in Green Bay. I don't think the Green Bay would ever let the Bears win. So even if they had like the number 1 seed locked up, I think they'd play their guys. Like they aren't going to let the Bears do that. So they'll be on the field.
I'm reserving my right to still pick the Bears on Thursday because it's only 2:22 on Monday. So we'll see where I get by game time.
There you go.
Herb.
Always
a pleasure. This is kicking it old school. Me and Herb doing a pod together, which we did back in the day.
We did.
So here we are. Shout out to Lance Hogue traveling today, going up to see his family in Minnesota. Steven producing, not taking any time off because he's Steven.
Doesn't take time off.
Shout out to Gregory P. Allen Braggs, who yelled at me today when all I did was say hello, basically. That was rude, but I love you, Greg.
After dark at 7 tonight.
After dark at 7 tonight, Braggs and Woot. Is that right?
I think.
Maybe a little Adam Rank in there. Rank picked the Bears.
Tune in at 7 to find out.
Yeah, right. Tune in at 7 to find out. Rank picking the Bears yesterday, 34-33. Rank's having a rough year. Real rough year. Yeah, okay, that'll do it. Hey, have a great Christmas, everybody. Stay safe out there. Enjoy your families. We will see you back here on Thursday.
We all silly like the mayor.